Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic, and for today I want to discuss in here the fact that I'm so pissed with AMD at the moment. So I woke up with this news. No more game optimizations for AMD Radeon RX 6000 and 5000. Everyone is talking about this entirely. Let me just check if my mic is working, because I already made a half an hour video ranting about this, and I can show you just to show you that I'm not lying. 28 minutes of video ranting about this situation and stuff like that, and I just forgot to turn on the mic. So I'm doing everything again, so it won't be as genuine as and vocal as it was before, but I will try it nonetheless. So I'm very pissed off with this because, yeah, I brought an used graphic card with 40 years old. It's true, it's an old card, but does it deserve the lack of game optimizations? I mean, what does this really mean? We have seen this in the past. I remember when AMD ditched support from RX 580, and I remember properly of searching on Reddit, on AMD subforum, just for some reason, after 1 year of that support being dropped, and I did found people complaining that certain game didn't work, and it did work on newer cards, and people were pointing out that it was the lack of driver support. And so this is probably what is coming for us. So not having game optimization support, it doesn't mean that we won't be able to run games. It will run, and it will run mostly the same, because let me tell you something just straight up to you. Game optimizations on the drivers, especially nowadays with the X12 and Vulkan, means absolutely this: zero. It might mean for newer cards and stuff like that, because Nvidia and AMD, they are still kind of tuning their cards, but when it comes to GPUs as old as the RX 6000 and 5000, it doesn't mean shit, to be honest, because they are not optimizing anything. And yes, Nvidia, it isn't doing anything of this either. Because do you think that Nvidia is doing any optimization for the RTX 2000? Yeah, those GPUs are still supported, and yes, those GPUs did receive DLSS 4, which was one of the greatest moves Nvidia ever done for the older cards in years, which was a good decision, thank God for that at least. But do you think that they are providing any game optimizations when they put in there, like on their game ready driver, saying that, oh, there's a new game driver for recreation or for Silent Hill F or anything? Do you think that you have any performance uplift on their drivers for that game if your card have like 2 or 3 years old? Hell, even if you have the latest cards, those game ready drivers means absolutely nothing. I've been having my drivers outdated sometimes for months. I don't do it mostly because, yeah, I do benchmark for the channel, and when I do benchmark I use the newer driver, but sometimes I even revert to older drivers on Nvidia and AMD, and there is absolutely no difference, even with release titles. This means nothing. For the most part, this means, especially for laptop users mostly, where their drivers can pick up and understand that, oh, there is this new game, and now it will run with a dedicated card instead of running with the integrated Intel GPU, for example. It serves mostly for that and for nitpicking 1 or 2 things, but you won't be having any performance improvement either from AMD, either from Nvidia on the latest years for these old cards. That's not a thing. And I think at some point I'm very pissed off with AMD, because not having game optimizations, it might mean that, just like the case of that people with the RX 580, it might mean that there might be games where we will run into issues, and who God knows how much time they will take to fix those things, because we are now second-class citizens. You are now part of a secondary driver team or something. You are not a priority at the moment, and this is exactly what pisses me off. Because some problems might never get fixed because they are related to games, and they clearly say that you will still receive the monthly drivers, just like the newer GPUs, okay? But the monthly driver releases will address critical security vulnerabilities, which is good, okay? And fix bugs. But what type of bugs are we talking about in here, right? So I had all these questions on that previous video that I made, and I forgot to turn on the microphone, and I got all the answers that I need. So this video will be much more quicker because I already ranted everything about this on the other video, and I did found answers during those rants. So the RX 580 was a different thing than what is happening in here, because what it seems like is that you will still receive monthly drivers, okay, but they are packaging differently. For example, if I go in here and search for let's check hold on, something is wrong. If I search, for example, for an RX 9000 series, let's pick up the 9070. Let me check if I and I press download, you'll see that this is downloading the RDNA free version of the driver. Although, if you go with something like the 6000 series, for example in here, you will see that the driver being downloaded have a different inscription in there. It says RDNA. It doesn't say RDNA free, so they split up the packages. So I believe that they want to optimize RDNA 3 and 4 first, without making a mistake of damaging the performance of the other series. So I think this is good. In some part, I think this is good. I think it's a good move, as long as they keep up their promises that they will still release monthly drivers to address security vulnerabilities and fix bugs. Now, the question for me that it was on the previous video is, what type of bugs are we talking about? Because, like I said, I did find on Reddit someone that said that his game didn't really start it. And on newer GPUs it did start, and they put the blame on the driver team, and I would do exactly the same, and I would be entirely pissed off. So what does it really mean? So for the 580 at the time, and this is something that I've been I did search previously on the other video. If we go and search for the 580, for example, in here, let's pick up the 580, I thought that AMD have stopped their drivers, but no. I mean, we have the latest driver, it was from 2 months ago, and yeah, there was just some crashes regarding the adrenaline, so nothing for the games, which is not good. But for example, if I pick up the 25.5, which was 5 months ago, it actually fixes stuff like intermittent crashes or freezes for Black Ops 6. Intermittent application crashes might be observed on Doom 2016 and using Alt-R or Alt-Z hotkeys. So apparently, just apparently, despite those cards are out of support, they still receive stuff to fix crashes, to fix stuff that is not allowing their GPUs to run their games. So yeah, it seems that we are not going to receive newer features. That's true. We are not going to receive performance optimizations. It's true, but the question is, were we receiving any performance optimizations? When was the last time? When was the last time I looked to a change log of a newer driver? Whatever, if it was my NV GTX 1650 Super, or whatever it was, my AMD RX 6700 XT. When was the last time I saw in a line saying that, oh, there is 5% improvement for this game on my RDNA 2 card? Or when was the last time I saw like a performance uplift on my for the Turing series or the 1650 Super series? I don't know, years maybe. So I don't think that anything is going to change. Okay, I don't want to look like I'm damaging Control AMD. I'm pissed off with this shit, to be honest. But in the end, I don't think that anything is going to change. I think the games will continue to work. And one of the things that you probably are afraid, which is something that I'm also afraid, is that, oh, we are not going to receive performance optimizations, so your performance will be crap compared to Nvidia. No, because Nvidia is not doing any performance optimizations either. I mean, they are providing the drivers monthly, sure. But have you seen any performance optimizations? I defy you to pick up a release game from today. Something like Unreal Engine 5, for example. Pick up a game, a demanding game from today. Pick up their release driver, a game ready driver, or if you want, pick up on AMD side, pick up a game that was released recently, a demanding one, pick up a game ready driver or something like that, that it is compatible, do the benchmark, and then go to Nvidia and AMD website and pick up a driver from 1 year ago, or 1 year and a half ago, as long as your GPU was already supported at that time, and compare the performance between those two drivers. You will be shocked to notice that those differences are pretty much this. Either 0 or either something really, really small. Okay. For the most part, this is the case. Because that's... At first, I was really pissed, but after that video, after half an hour discussing and ranting, I started to rationalize a little bit. And the only issue with AMD at the moment is that they are being very vocal about what they are doing. And by splitting the packages, they are being very vocal with what they are doing. Because, in my opinion, Nvidia is doing the same thing. Without splitting up the packages, true. But they are doing exactly the same shit. But they are not mentioning. Because I have gone to ChatGPT in here. And I ask, search for me performance uplifts or something for the 3000 series, because, let's be honest, the RX 6700 XT was the biggest opponent for them. It was the 3000 series from Nvidia, which was released more or less at the same time. Of Nvidia, on their Nvidia driver changelog, and find me the latest one they had. And ChatGPT did found me that in 2021 that was a resizable bar, that's all an uplift. We have the 22.25, which was shader compilation and performance for the 3000 series. Okay. December 2022 tests, there was an improvement in performance. And there was the 545.84 new features, but less about pure performance uplift. This was in October 2023. Not necessarily huge games for 3000 series. So, we don't get any performance optimizations for Nvidia, from Nvidia to the 3000 series for about, let's just say, pretty much 2 years ago. And I'm pretty sure that the same can be said about this. Let's just do this because I haven't done that. Let's just see what ChatGPT it is going to show me. What? No, not Nvidia. Oh crap. Okay, hold on. I made crap in here. On, off AMD, on their AMD driver. Sorry. Let's just see what I found. These are performance uplift claims. Okay, other investigation. No, they're just comparing with their RDNA 3. Scan backwards. Yeah. Let's just see what do we find in here. Huh? Oh my god. Sorry. Oh my god. What in the hell am I doing? Hold on. It's just my phone that it is recording is in front of me. So I can't really I can't really see what it is being written in here. Okay, that's the stuff. Let's see. In the release note 25.1 with improved frame generation image quality, this is a feature. Okay. Series is still with. Okay, they just found this. Okay, so then I was a little bit concerned. On the previous video, like I said, I've done a lot of ranting in here, and I've searched stuff like, for example, okay, I decided to pick up a good example, which is the RX 580. And if you RX 580, let me just search when did the RX 580 got out of the main support from AMD. Just for have an idea. Because AMD killed the support. Hold on. AMD quite announced change in driver support for providers September. Year and specific in the article, but implied 2023. Let's just see. GSN is way out. Okay, okay. This one, it was pretty much 2 years ago. Okay, and the question is, how does the GPU behave now, 2 years after, without having game optimizations? So I did search a little bit on the web about some examples, and some of them that I decided to pick it up, it was the 1060, which is the classic rival of the 580, and this is Ninja Gaiden 4, and this guy apparently it is running the game at low settings using TAA 1080p, and it has wind effects disabled, and it is on the train level, and this performance it is about 40 to 50 frames per second. Okay, then I searched let's just do in here RX 580 Ninja Gaiden 4, just to have an idea. So someone I'm sorry. Someone also tried the game at the same spot. Okay, native resolution 2, so 1080p again, the same settings, TAA, custom settings, everything disabled. I mean, I think that. Hold on, I think that. Let me just check ambient occlusions just to have an idea. Ambient occlusion is even turned off on the 1060, and on this guy some of the stuffs are turned on. For example, reflection quality is disabled on the 1060, ambient occlusion is disabled, and wind effects are disabled. And on AMD test, this guy have ambient occlusion, he also have reflections and wind effects. And let's look at the performance. This is not apples to apples, but still let's see how it does perform. So 50 frames per second, 55, 50s, let's move on a little bit more further. Okay, 45, but that might be related with the fact that it is using higher settings, okay, but it's around 45 to 50s, while this guy is having about 50s, 47 to 60. Okay, it has a slightly better performance, but it is also playing without ambient occlusion and without reflections, so I think it's pretty much comparable. So let's pick up another example, like for example, this is not an Unreal Engine title, but let's pick up an Unreal Engine title, given that it's something that it is being used pretty much by all the people. And I got this example that this guy was playing at low settings with native resolution and TAA, and the guy is getting pretty much 40 frames per second. Okay, so for this example in here, Silent Hill F, I need someone to be more or less on the same place. This is on Brazilian probably. Hold on, so I will translate to you. So 1080p, borderless. Okay, the settings is custom. Let me just go. And he is using 75% of resolution scaling. He's using high textures, low settings, and that's about it. And TAA, so this is not a good comparison. The guy is having like 60. Let's see if there is a place on this. Oh, okay. This guy uses upscaling or something. So, oh no, this is 1440p. Okay. Oh crap. Alright, let's search another one for the 1060 maybe. Let's see this guy, which is Games Mark. Let's see the settings that it does have, just for have an idea. So 1080p. Okay, native. Okay, reflections. This guy have reflections and TAA. Let's check this one because I'm not 100% sure. Oh, but I don't want native. Okay. Low plus TSR quality. Okay. Maybe this one is the good thing. TSR on quality. Please just use low. I don't understand. He's using 75% of resolution scaling plus TSR. Wait, let me just check again. This is a little bit confusing. Ah, no, he's using TSR. No, hold on. Something is wrong. He's using TSR on quality mode. And also apply 75% of resolution scaling. Whoa, that's much lower. That's really bad, in fact. Okay, let's just... I need another example. This one is not good. We have in here half an hour. Oh crap, these guys. Let's check this option. Graphics. Okay, show me. So frame rate limit of 60. It has the game on... lot of stuff off. The FSR on its quality mode. On the 1060. He's having like 68. But, I mean, as soon as these ads go away... sorry. This was not supposed... I should have an ad block, I know. Hold on. But this guy... let me just check what it does have. Oh no, yeah, it has everything turned off too. Okay. So virtually more or less the same settings. He's having like 60, 68, 64 too. And this one is having the same frame rate. So 2 years without support. Playing a game with a recent Unreal Engine. And the performance is still pretty comparable in between the 580 and the 1060. See? So I don't think that game optimizations are a thing. I don't want to look like I'm damaging Control AMD in here. But I mean, game optimizations are something fake. As long as the game do work. As long as there is a kind of a... imagine that you have a game that for some reason plays much worse on AMD than on NVIDIA for a bug that is related with the older series and the older drivers or these drivers. As long as they fix that stuff, I'm pretty fine with this. To be honest, I was very pissed at the moment. I was very pissed with this. And at the moment, after rationalize a little bit this, I don't think it is a big deal. Because everything will still work. And if it doesn't work, they will fix, like you saw on that driver, that they are fixing crashes for Black Ops 6, as long as people probably report that. But yeah, you won't be receiving any newer features, you won't be receiving any newer game optimizations, but come on, nobody is doing that. AMD wasn't doing that already, okay? And NVIDIA wasn't doing that either. NVIDIA is not doing that. The only thing good that NVIDIA have done, it was really the DLSS 4. That's for sure. And do you think that my 1650 Super does receive performance optimizations? I do still continue to receive drivers, it's true. But do you think I receive any optimization for that card? No, I don't receive it. If I drop down to drivers from 3 years ago and compare to the release ones from today, performance would be the same. I can do that comparison if you want, just to prove that this thing is nothing. This is AMD being very vocal about what they are doing. And this is damaging themselves. If NVIDIA said that they are not pushing game optimizations for older series too, that would damage NVIDIA. And with this title, and with the videos from Hardware Unboxed, which are 100% correct, which this situation sucks, with all this, I think this will hurt AMD. because they are saying way too much. Okay, this is just that. Games won't be stop working. And if it does, I'm here to criticize this. But this certainly will damage AMD. Many people will certainly look with other eyes to AMD. They will look to the drivers and they will say, they look at this and they will say, no, I'm not going to buy AMD again because AMD dropped support very early. When in fact Nvidia is probably doing the same thing. You just don't know it. That's the thing. And it is what it is, I guess. I'm just a little bit skeptical, and I want to see how the games will fare for the upcoming months and years. I will obviously continue to benchmark my 6700 XT, and if I find that something is off, like for example, if the performance feels weird compared to Nvidia counterparts, or if a game doesn't start because of this lack of support from AMD, I will be the first one to say that on my videos. Because I'm not here to defend AMD, I don't have anything to earn with the things that AMD accomplishes or disaccomplishes. I don't care, it's just a brand, just like Nvidia. I have both of them, and for me, both of them are the same. They are just two companies trying to make money. And I think AMD made a mistake, in fact, in being very vocal about this. Okay, I think that's it, guys. I think that's it that I want to talk about these whole situations. Sometimes I do talk a lot about PC situations and stuff like that. I might need to start to do videos like this because I think this is fun, and I might have your opinions on the comments. So if you have any opinion regarding this situation, if you think this is really bad, if you think this is going to change, or if you think that, like me, that after stopping for a while and think about this, in my opinion, I don't think this will change a thing. I think games will continue to work, I think games will continue to perform, just like you saw with the 580. That doesn't have official mainstream support since 2 years ago, and it still does it on par with the 1060, which is still supported today. So nothing will change. Nothing will change, guys. That's the thing that I think it will happen. The only thing that I think it will happen is that if a game doesn't work for the drivers, support probably will take more to come out. But I mean, AMD is not, it is not really known for their severity with drivers, right? So I think that's all, guys. Thank you much for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.